Hello and welcome back to our weekly session on career mastery. I am your host, Socheta, and today we are diving into a topic that I know resonates with so many of our listeners because it hits so close to home for me too. Have you ever felt like you have too many interests and you just cannot choose one path? Have you been told you are a jack of all trades, master of none?
It is a phrase that has caused a lot of unnecessary anxiety for a long time, Sucheta. Thank you for having me. I am excited to dig into this because, frankly, the world needs people who can see the big picture right now more than ever.
I am so glad to hear you say that, Mr. Sarawin, because for many of us, the pressure to specialize, to find that one true calling, feels less like a goal and more like a cage. It feels like we are being forced to cut off parts of ourselves just to fit into a job description.
That is exactly what it is for a multipotentialite. That is a term coined by Emily Wapnick, and it describes someone with many interests and creative pursuits. For these individuals, the traditional career ladder feels vertical and narrow, while their natural inclination is to move horizontally, connecting dots that others don't even see.
Connecting dots that others don't see. I love that. But how does someone like that actually build a stable career? If I spend 6 months obsessed with photography, and then 6 months learning how to code, and then another 6 months fascinated by urban gardening, my resume starts to look like a random collection of hobbies. How do we turn that into a strategy?
It starts with changing the narrative. We need to move away from the idea that consistency is the only marker of success. There are actually 4 distinct work models for people with too many interests. The first one is what we call the group hug approach.
A group hug approach. That sounds lovely, but how does it work in a corporate or professional setting?
It is about finding a multifaceted job or starting a business that allows you to wear many hats. Imagine a documentary filmmaker. They have to be a researcher, a writer, a cinematographer, a project manager, and a marketer all at once. They are not choosing one interest. They are hugging them all together in one role.
I see. So you find a role that is inherently complex. But what if you can't find that one umbrella job? What if your interests are just too diverse? Like, say, being a surgeon who also wants to be a professional cellist.
Then you look at the slash career. This is very popular now. You are a surgeon/cellist. You do not try to combine them. You give them their own distinct spaces. You might work 4 days a week in the hospital and spend the other 3 performing or teaching music. It provides balance and prevents burnout in any single area.
That sounds amazing, but does it not get exhausting? Constantly switching gears? I feel like my brain would be spinning by Wednesday.
For a specialist, yes, that would be exhausting. But for a multipotentialite, the variety is actually what generates energy. The exhaustion usually comes from doing only one thing for too long. Variety is the fuel, not the drain.
That is a total paradigm shift. I always thought I was tired because I was doing too much, but maybe I was tired because I was suppressing the other parts of my curiosity. What about people who don't want to do things simultaneously? What if they like to dive deep into one thing for a few years and then move on completely?
That is the phoenix approach. Like the mythical bird, you build a career, you excel at it, and then when the fire of interest dies out, you let it go and rise again in a completely new industry. You might spend 5 years in high-tech sales, then 5 years running a boutique bakery. The key here is to realize that the skills you learned in sales, negotiation, psychology, resilience, will make you a much better bakery owner than someone who only knows flour and water.
So nothing is ever truly wasted. The waste is just a myth. Even if I stop doing something, I take the meta skills with me to the next adventure.
Precisely. And there's one more, the Einstein approach. Albert Einstein worked at a patent office. It was a stable, good enough job that didn't take all his mental energy, which allowed him to use his spare time to revolutionize physics. Some people find a job that is simple and well-paying, and they use that security to fund 100 different passions outside of work.
That takes the pressure off finding your passion in your paycheck. It makes the job a supporter of your life rather than the definition of it.
Exactly. The strategy is to choose the model that fits your current life stage. You are not disorganized. You are an innovator. You are a bridge builder. You are the person who will bring a solution from the world of art into the world of engineering.
I feel like a weight has been lifted. To our listeners out there who feel scattered, maybe you are not scattered at all. Maybe you are just building a very large, very beautiful map. Mr. Sarawin, thank you for this incredible perspective.
My pleasure, Sucheta. Remember, your curiosity is a superpower, not a flaw. Use it.
You heard him. Go out there and embrace all the versions of yourself. We'll be back next week. Until then, stay curious.